I didn't think too much about it. I was just, I just wanted to share what I was doing pretty much. And I didn't initially start doing the content in Thai. I didn't speak Thai at the time. I got my wife to translate for me. She was telling me the word in Thai, and she would film me, and then we tried to get me to say the word correctly. Actually, the first video I think that I put up that was in Thai, I was sitting in the ice bath, and I would it was very few words, like, just hello, I'm sitting here in the ice, and people thought it was really funny, and that video got like a few 100,000 views.
Welcome to Fruiting Body Podcast with your host, Brendan. Today, we have an absolute legend of a guest making his first appearance on the podcast. Now, he flew down from Pattaya. Who is it, you're asking? It is Robin Flint. This guy is the health guru, and you got to hear his story. It's all about tackling inflammation from cold plunges. Now, he's more than just that, but we're going to dive right into his story because I don't want to waste your time anymore. So let's get it started with Robin Flint. Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, so we went to dinner last night and had a little bit of a discussion on the backstory, which makes my life easier. I don't have to do as much research, so it's double. We killed two birds with one stone, as we do on the Fruiting Body Podcast. It's really about those life stories of people living in Thailand. So let's strip it right back, and we are discussing your first trips to Thailand. And for the audience, we're going to get there. You're going to understand the cold plunge, why you got into it, those issues with inflammation, and how you guys can tackle that too. But first, let's do that backstory. Let us know where you're from exactly and what brought you to Thailand.
So I'm from the south of Sweden, a city called Malmö. And what brought me to Thailand was my family. We went on a family trip to Phuket. We went to Patong Beach, and we all just really loved it. I went with my mom and my sister. We stayed for like a 2-week vacation. We actually went home right before the tsunami hit Patong Beach, a couple of days before. But other than that, we really, really liked coming to Thailand. And then I kept coming here for vacations pretty much every year for several years, maybe 10 years, something like that. And I really felt I wanted to move here. So.
I think that's the recurring story of most guests on the podcast. It's you get a taste of Thailand, you're being Swedish, me being Canadian, you go back home and you're like, what the hell am I doing here? How quick was that turnaround? I mean, we were discussing, you came, you did a couple trips, and eventually you made that cold plunge, no pun intended, to move here. How many trips did that take? How long did that take until you made the real move?
So the first time I came here was like a family trip. I was just 17. The second time was also a family trip. And then when I grew up, I got a job, I made my own money. So I saved up so I could come here when I was 19. Then I kept coming like pretty much one or two times a year. Not to Phuket, but I went to around the Pattaya area, out to the islands. I've been around all over Thailand, really. Like I said, about when I was about 27, that's when I decided to come and move here.
So you're spending coffee went down wrong. You've spent 10 years back at home before making the dive into Thailand. I mean, those 10 years in Sweden and Thailand constantly on your mind, and I'm sure a lot of people share that similar thought process. What's going through your head for those 10 years? Are you focused on your work? Are you finding any which way to get over here? How did that all come together?
Every time I was going back home from here, I was depressed. I was feeling really shitty for 2-3 weeks afterwards. It's in the winter time in Sweden as well, so that period is very hard on a lot of people. You have a lot of suicides and stuff going on because it's basically 6 months of darkness and cold. You don't get enough vitamin D, and you just longing back to the sun coming here. So yeah, it was pretty much a constant thing, except for the summertime. The summertime in Sweden is pretty nice, as in Canada, I guess. But wintertime comes along, and it's just like, I don't want to be here anymore. So I just felt I wanted to move. I needed to move here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same when I left university. I went to university in Australia, and you see this other part of the world where it's 24 hours sunshine, 365. You're like, what the hell am I doing in these countries? You have options, and I don't think we probably had that 40 years ago, maybe during our parents' generation. So you're making that leap. You're coming over to Thailand. But like most people that are always thinking about it, it's like, am I going to have enough money? What am I going to do when I get there? Can I, be able to support myself? Did you build up businesses before coming out here to make sure that you would be self-sufficient?
Right. So I was working in a factory at the time. I was an electrician. But when I was about 20, a friend of mine introduced me to Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and passive income streams and all of that. And that just blew my mind, a new way of thinking about money. And so I started investing for passive income streams, started building some network marketing and trying to figure out really how I can make a living without having to be in the factory anymore, pretty much. And yeah, that took about 7 years. And then when I was 27, that's when I was finally able to quit my job. And so I just got rid of all my stuff and moved here.
Well, what was that first passive income stream? What was your very first business? Because like anyone, when you're starting a business, one's going to fail and you learn and you grow. Can you walk us through that entire experience?
So I actually started out buying a house with a friend, and we renovated that, and then we rented that out. So that was the first passive income stream that we got together.
And from there, you were getting into marketing? Was it like coaching? Because again, this is still probably early e-commerce days, like the accessibility to these platforms like Shopify and WooCommerce, it wasn't really readily available. Were you doing also this type of marketing stuff or any product stuff?
Not really. Like I got into network marketing. Like I said, I was introduced to Amway, like you probably know about. It's pretty widespread. And the first thing that I heard when I got into that was that it's like a real life business school or something like that. Robert Kiyosaki talks about it as well. So I just figured this is probably a good learning experience, which it was, but it wasn't my cup of tea to do that whole thing, not the right products, all of that. Like you talked about the e-commerce, and like that came a lot later. So I think I did about 18 months or something like that. And I went to all the meetings, conventions and stuff. And they actually had a really good system for keeping people engaged, which is, they call it CORE. And it's basically building success habits, like, reading books and, learning the skills basically that you need to learn to succeed in business. Because like network marketing is like any other business, but you are the marketer, I guess. And
you're the product, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
So then how does that business model work? You're bringing other people into the program. It's a program being sold?
Yeah, well, they have like a bunch of products, and basically how it works, like you build a network that it's like a sales organization or sales
like
network.
MLM.
Yeah, it's a MLM, exactly.
Yeah.
Network marketing or MLM, it's the same type of thing. I don't really like the model per se, but I really like the learning experience from it, because it's really you really have to get engaged with it. You really have to get a positive mindset. You have to get rid of your fears. It's very good learning experience to start out, especially as a 20-year-old. You don't know shit anyway, right? So I'm really grateful for that time, even though like I wasn't successful at all in terms of making money from it or anything, but I was really successful in terms of learning how to build successful habits. So that's where it all started, going forward and building like. That's where I learned about investing in real estate or getting passive income streams, other types of ways of making money. Pretty much.
You kind of become your own business within their business itself, and you're learning all facets of that, from customer service to sales to marketing to pricing and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
From that experience, you're moving over here when you're 27. I think what the audience and myself would be interested in. It's how much did you save up? I mean, did you go, I need X amount of dollars before I leave everything and come over to Thailand? So what was that amount that you were budgeting? How long was that going to last you? But what also was your plan once you got here?
So I wanted to build up a passive income stream that was covering my my salary pretty much. So that was the goal. And my salary at the time after tax was about $2,000 a month, something like that, which was at the time plenty to stay in Thailand. So I did, like I said, I didn't make it from network marketing. I made it from I bought some other houses that we rented out and some apartments and stuff like that. And that was pretty much the income stream was coming from real estate rentals.
So you could live here and live off that essentially.
Yeah.
And is that still going on? Have you sold those properties?
I have sold it because I figured out later that it's too much trouble that can happen when you're in the other side of the world and something happens. Like one time I was on a diving trip in Borneo, and like my the attendant from one of the houses, they called and they said, oh, the roof just blew off the house. It was like a big storm, and like half the roof just blew off the house. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm here doing all these fun things, but now I'm feeling shit because I'm worried about the situation. So I sort of slowly started selling off the properties and trying to figure out new ways of making money.
By the time you've kind of sold these assets, is this the capital now to allow you to live sustainably in Thailand that you're planning to live off of? And did you have to budget off that now?
Yeah, so that was obviously a big thing, getting rid of the income streams. I had some other, like from like dividend stocks and some other stuff that I acquired along the way. So I still had some, but most of the income streams disappeared. But then instead I had a chunk of money that I could use to live off and
be sustainable in Thailand.
Well, I don't know, like it wouldn't be sustainable really, but it bought me some time to figure out the next steps.
What were the next steps?
So the next steps was to figure out the way to make income online. And like you mentioned before, like I tried the whole e-commerce thing, and I've tried some other types of ways of making money online, which wasn't my passion really. And that's when I figured, okay, what do I really like to do? And what I really like to do is helping people, but helping people in a real way. And that's in terms of health, that's what I really wanted to help people with. But at the time, or since I was really in my teens, I had huge health problems myself, or pains. So all my joints have been aching, back pain, my hip was messed up, and I figured I need to heal myself first to be able to do that.
This is prior coming to Thailand. This is always like pre-underlying issues.
Yeah, this has been for long, pre-Thailand, but also when I was here, like it actually got worse when I moved to Thailand, and now I know why, but back then I had no idea. Like it's diet related. A lot of it is diet related.
What percentage would be diet, could be the exercise itself, could be stress, or it could be sleep. Was it like 90% diet?
I would say, yeah, 90% diet. Well, it's like what you put in your mouth dictates how you feel. Like you are what you eat. We all have heard that expression, right? But here in Thailand, it's very widespread use of seed oils and MSG sugar in the food and stuff like that, which also brings inflammation in a massive way. So, yeah, it's...
And certain people in higher metabolisms, this is probably going to affect them more greatly, like yourself, compared to my fat ass. But let's touching on that point, you find your passion and helping people, and specifically, let's say in that health industry, you're making that transition decision that this could be your next career path. What were the first steps you took to plan this roadmap out?
So I started, like I got that from the core, like I said, in the Amway, just learning. So I spent like 5-10 hours a day just learning, trying to figure out how can I heal myself, how can I fix this, right? And I didn't just read about it or listen to podcasts or watching videos. I was also trying everything out, like, you know, supplements, trying out different types of diets. Like I went on the vegan diet, I've been on the paleo, keto, carnivore, animal based. Like I've tried very, very many things, and doing, you know, specific exercises, stretching, just doing everything I can pretty much to feel as good as I possibly can. And that's when I found out about the cold plunging, ice baths and stuff like that as well. Like one day I was just watching YouTube and this video popped up in the feed. There was this guy, crazy dude called Wim Hof, who said he could control pain. And when he said that, I was just like, I have pain. I need to learn how to control pain. I need to meet this guy who says he can control pain. So I just went to his website. Okay, where is he gonna be next? Okay, they're gonna have an expedition in Poland, and I just booked it. Well, I talked with a friend first, and like obviously there's a process to get to that stage. But I think like within 48 hours of first time seeing him, I booked a trip to go there together with my friend, and then we went like 6 months later or whatever. Like,
this is from Thailand.
This is from, like, I flew in from Thailand to Poland, and it was like a 5-day training. It's like Vice did a documentary about it back like 10 years ago or whatever, and I didn't even look into it at all. Like I was just so focused on being able to control the pain, right? So after I bought the tickets and everything, I just okay, maybe I have to figure out what this is all about. And I watched that documentary, and then I got really scared because like I had this traumatic experience when I was about 10. Like I was paddling canoe, and like when in the winter time in Sweden, you don't paddle outside, you paddle inside. So with the inside canoes, it's very flat in the bottom. But with the outside canoes, they're much more rounded to be able to go with the speed, right? So this was like the first training of the year. I think it was early April, and it was like at the river or creek where we were paddling. Like it was still a little bit of ice at the edges and snow and stuff. And we went out, and I really felt it was, you know, a little bit wobbly. So I was really focused on it, out paddling for like 45 minutes. And then like when we were 50 meters from the dock where we were going back, I just relaxed. And I felt like, oh, I'm home. Finally, I can. And then I fell in. Like I just went into the water, and it was a horrible experience. I still remember it today. You know, it was really, really cold water. I was in so much pain, and I really hated it. So I was really scared of the cold since then, and always been like very freezing very easily. So when I saw like they were, you know, they would go to make a hole in the ice in the creek at this experience, or in the Vice documentary. I was just like, oh, what have I gotten myself into, right? But yeah, once I got there, well, when I got there, I felt really, really like, what am I doing here? It was funny. Like, we flew into Prague airport, yep. And then there's like a 4-hour bus ride from Prague into Poland over the border, and on like halfway there, we stopped to have like a little break, go to the toilet and stuff. I remember it was like 10:30 or something like that at night in the bus. Everything dark, and the temperature was 12 below zero. And I was sitting right by the door. When they opened the door, I was wearing all the clothes that I had. And I just felt like, oh no, tomorrow they're going to make me, go out in this without clothes. They're going to make me go into the water and like, oh no, what am I going to do here, But I don't know, like everyone else was doing it. So you sort of get rid of the fear when you get into it, right? And
the pressure of the mob.
Yeah, right. And well, like there's so many different types of people doing it. Like in our group, we were 20 people, 2 instructors, and everyone's doing it. Everyone's totally different, all cool people, and it wasn't at all as bad as I thought it would be. It's all in the head. Like the fear is in the head. It's not real. So even though it was like their experience when I was 10 was real, like the fear from that experience was not real. And like I feel like I've got so much out of doing the ice bath and the cold exposure in general, conquering my fears, that I've just been keeping doing it. Like I've done the ice bath pretty much every day for 6 years now.
This experience, when now you're meeting Wim Hof himself, and is it small classes? Is it more intimate? Are they larger? Like, is he working with you one-on-one?
So it's a little bit of both. It's not one-on-one. Like I said, the group was 20, but I think there was 4 groups in total, so we were about 80 people for the whole experience. And then Wim would go from group to group and hang out with us for a couple of hours. Like I said, it was 5 days, so we got quite a lot of time with him.
And I think this is probably either before he's really blown up, or around that same time.
This was obviously now it's it's 6 years ago. Like he was already pretty blown up. Not here in Thailand though. Like I don't think anyone knew about it back then, or very few people at least. But it was pretty widespread already internationally, or at least in the U.S.
Did you find, now this is your real first cold plunge experience, did you find that it was helping with the inflammation, or is it more about the fear?
Well, yeah, I think it's a combination. Definitely help with inflammation and pain, but I think just getting over that hump of fear, and like it gave me the power to do all these other things that actually healed me.
When you came back with this experience, were you planning to put it to use where you could teach others?
No, not at all.
This is still years before that.
Yeah. Like before I started actually teaching others, that was probably 5 years after that. So I was doing it, consistently for 5 years before I...
So you're in Thailand and you have this 5-year gap before you really jump into the health industry and getting involved in the cold plunge side. What were you kind of doing for those 5 years in Thailand?
Well, like I said, that was the time when I was fully focused on my health. Like I was doing the cold plunges, breathing exercises, experimenting with different diets, exercising, trying different yoga, stretching methods, and grounding, and like there's supplements, and sleep, improving sleep like massively. So yeah, it was a process. Like I really wanted to heal myself first before I could help others, obviously. Like if I'm not, I don't want to I'm the person who likes to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Right?
Well, like you were saying, you wanted to get those 10,000 hours in first, so you could be that expert. When you're kind of gathering that experience yourself, is there any plan of how you're going to put that into action, or did this kind of just come organically?
That's a good question. Well, like I had so much knowledge and so much experience in doing it, and then I had quite a lot of people who, like my friends and people that I met. Like I started because I really loved it, so I met people at, you know, first time I met some people at like a sauna place or whatever, and you know they we started talking, and I say, oh, I'm doing the ice baths on my balcony like every day, and I just invite like people I met for 10 minutes. I just, yeah, you can come and try it out at my balcony, you know, and you know, people liked it. People really liked it. So those were, I guess, the first interactions with, you know, getting people into that thing. Yeah.
And at this point, you've completely changed your lifestyle and diet. Like, were you? I've had people on the podcast, and for example, a friend of mine, Ryan from Life in Rural Thailand, and he changed his whole life. He was an alcoholic and completely changed it, and obviously that's going to help with the mindset and diet. Most people that do come to, I don't want to say most, but a lot of people coming to Thailand, it's very easy to fall into the trap of this is the party place. Was that your lifestyle at all? Did you have to change a lot of that?
Yep, everything. Yeah, I was drinking pretty heavily. Which was obviously one of the issues as well, like drinking beers.
Was that living in Bangkok or in Pattaya?
Both. I actually never lived in Pattaya. We stay in a place called Bang Sarai, which is...
So the whole time there?
Yeah, pretty much the whole time there. And I was really depressed as well. I remember, like, I was eating, you know, a lot of the stuff that you buy in like 7-Eleven supermarkets and stuff, you know, like I was... Yeah, it's been going on for a long time. It's a long journey. But I remember, especially back in Sweden, long before I came here, like in the winter time when I was depressed, I would go down to like the supermarket and buy, you know, a whole bunch of, you know, cookies and snacks and stuff like that, and just go home and just smack it. And I remember thinking, like, no matter how bad I feel, I can still do this to feel better. But it's not a solution. It's just covering the problems, right?
But you're still bringing these habits over to Thailand.
Yes, big time.
And what's the community like down there? I mean, again, you're 20 kilometers from Pattaya. So in this area, it's a very small foreign community. You said you were the only like white person essentially. So this lifestyle, having beers or drinks, is this all by yourself? Are you integrating with Thai society? What did your day look like?
A little bit of both. Like Thais like to drink as well. I used to go down to the local beach, Bang Sarai beach, and you know, people sitting there drinking in the night. I would just, you know, join in with them, or I would go, you know, get smashed in Pattaya for, you know, in any time really that I felt like it. But I don't anymore. Like I very rarely drink actually now.
How hard was it to get out of that lifestyle? Were you ripping off a Band-Aid, or was there a slower process to get to that? Meaning, like, you could relapse sometimes, or was it one day cold turkey, you got out of it?
Well, I like I said, I was watching a lot of YouTube clips and stuff like that, and I found another channel called Infinite Waters, which is like, that's a black guy from England, I think, and he's full vegan. And he had this one week vegan challenge, and that's what I tried out. That's where it all started really. So I started out with the alcohol. Obviously is still vegan, but like after that 1 week, I really felt better because I cut out like most of the garbage foods. Like I didn't eat snacks, and I wanted to get healthier, and I thought that was the way. So I was just basically eating vegetables and fruits for a week, and wow, I felt much better because I cut out the beers and all the other stuff. But like I would still, you know, I would still drink. I would still, you know, like after that first week, like during the I continued doing the vegan diet for about 16 months, and during that whole period, I was still drinking, but I wasn't eating that much processed foods and stuff like that, obviously.
That lifestyle, especially when you're kind of living in these Thai communities, I've had discussions with people that have lived out there, and yaba, and I didn't realize this till being in Thailand a while, that it is everywhere. Would you see that around that community of people drinking this type of, the drug essentially?
Yaba?
It's much, the yaba culture, because it's much more hidden on the outskirts. And even Phuket, it's terrible. Would you see this in the Thai community? I mean, you walk around here, it's everywhere. You can see the guys on the motorbikes. Was that something that was prevalent?
I think I was pretty blind to it at the time. Like I never got involved. Like my mom really scared me up when I was a kid about doing drugs and stuff. Yeah. So I would never ever touch it, especially stuff like that, java. Like no. I was far away from that. I was more all about the drinking, and I would drink a lot. Like not remember anything. Like I'm so lucky to be alive, really, because I've done so much stupid stuff. On the after drinking 15 beers or whatever in a night, like most people, I guess. But
get on the motorbike, and then I mean, maybe your house isn't too far from where you were going, but it's still far enough.
Yeah.
Did you have any like near death I don't want to say in that sense on the motorbike where something could have went wrong and you've avoided it?
Yes, many times.
Anything that sometimes, I mean, I'm no prince here. I've had a few of them. I usually will go quite slow, but sometimes something that is quite close and your memory will recall that and go, holy shit, I'm lucky to be alive.
Many times, yes.
Do you have like a specific example of something that you can recall that you're like, fuck, that was dangerous?
Well, like my buddies, they would come visit me, and they would come for like a 2-week vacation or whatever. So we'd always go out and partying and stuff. And they laughed about it so hard because like when I'm sober, I would drive real slow and real polite and good, And then they said, like when you drink, it's like you're drinking turbo juice, and you just drive like a maniac when you're after a bunch of beers. And I've had so many times where it's like you're here in Thailand, you have dogs popping out, like people driving out right in front of you, like things happen all the time. You have to stay really focused on what you're doing. And so like, it's not just one time, we're talking many, many times where it's like, maybe I wouldn't die because I was driving maybe 50 or, whatever, but in a small soy, and you have like very, very close, very, very close.
Did you ever crash?
I never crashed.
I only have one crash.
Very lucky.
Yeah,
very lucky.
It's even 50s. I crashed going 40, but I slipped out. Actually, only had a couple beers. I kind of hit a bump and slipped out, and even my toe today is still in pain. I'm talking 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I didn't hit it that hard, and I didn't think anything of it, and there wasn't a problem, but just I can even see the bone now where it's still a little bit funny.
Right.
And it's like, Jesus, just that one night, and nothing really happened that bad. As you're transitioning now into this healthy lifestyle, and you went through the Wim Hof, but I mean, now your expertise, I mean, people are seeing you online as Don't Be the Dog. We'll get into the cold plunge side and some of the seminars and workshops that you're doing, and you're over in Bangkok at Unomori. Before we jump into that, let's talk about the meaning of Don't Be the Dog. Where did this come from?
That actually comes from a story from a great motivational speaker in America called Les Brown. And he used to tell this story back in like the 80s or something. I used to listen to a lot of this was during the Amway time. Like I got into listening to all these motivational speakers and stuff. And so he used to tell this story back in the day where he went to his friend's house, and his friend was sitting in the couch, and there was a dog on the floor. And the dog was moaning and groaning. So he asked his friend, like, why is your dog moaning and groaning? Because he's lying on a nail. Okay. But why doesn't he just move? Is he lying on a nail? Well, because it doesn't hurt him bad enough. And that's how most people are today, including me. Like, I was complaining, moaning and groaning about my back. Like, I remember when I was out playing golf with my buddies back in Sweden, and I would. They are much older than me, and I was in my early 20s, and I would tell them it feels like I have the body of an 8-year-old, and they would just look at me and like, how are you gonna feel when you're my age, you know? So, don't be the dog basically means don't be lazy. Don't just moan and groan about all the things that are wrong with your life. Take action and do something. And that's what I've done. Just do something. That's what the channel is about. Just do something to fix it.
How did you decide that that would be the name of the channel? I mean, you're creating your first pieces of content. You got to change your name. You know, pick a brand, pick a handle. How did you make that decision?
Well, like that's a good question. Like I've been doing the social media thing before COVID, pre-COVID, pretty much. I used to put out content like pretty much on a daily basis, like motivational stuff. But I also did a bunch of live streams and stuff on Facebook, trying it out back in the day. And I would tell this story, the Les Brown story, and a buddy of mine, he was watching the live stream and he just thought it was so funny. Don't be the dog, don't be the dog. And then that's what came to mind when I was going to open up a new channel about 2 years ago. And like, don't be the dog. That's what I'm going to call it. Don't be someone who's just complaining. Just fucking do something.
Yeah, seize the day, right? Essentially. What is that? Carpe diem, I think.
Right.
Now you're starting your channel, Don't Be the Dog. It's really focused on this health industry and specifically into the cold plunges, but more targeting the whole Thai community. You're speaking Thai in the videos, so you're really connecting to them as well. Was there a plan for that this is what it was going to happen? Did it start with something else before the cold plunges? Can you walk us through that process of like how did it come to what it is today, in which you're getting over 100 million views nationwide?
Well, I just like I said, my friends, they encouraged me to start sharing what I've learned, and I wanted to make the channel about like health and fitness, and you know, you can heal yourself. So yeah, that's like I didn't think too much about it. I was just, you know, I just wanted to share what I was doing pretty much. And I didn't initially start doing the content in Thai. I didn't speak Thai at the time. I think I did like 5-10 videos or something like that. I put it up on TikTok, got pretty much no views at all. And then I learned that when you post on TikTok, it's all local. So I was making content in English, but all the people that are watching it, they don't understand English. So, okay, let's try to do it in Thai. So I got my wife to translate for me, or we basically did like a parrot style. She was telling me the word in Thai, and I would, you know, she would film me, and then we tried to, you know, get me to say the word correctly. Which took a lot of time and energy. And actually the first video I think that I put up that was in Thai, I was sitting in the ice bath and I would just, you know, talk, it was very few words, like, you know, just hello, I'm sitting here in the ice, and people thought it was really funny, and that video got like a few 100,000 views, and then I'm just like, okay, I need to go with the flow, go with the Thai content, and then we just kept doing that. It was very hard, obviously, and very time consuming. Like every video would take a lot of time and energy, and me and my wife were fighting a lot because like I'm saying it the way you're saying it. No, you're not. You know, like it's like that all the time. Thank God that time is past now. Like now I'm much better in Thai. So
you can kind of do it without as much direction now.
Yeah. It's a totally different game now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're running these workshops. You're seeing more Thais are getting involved in the video as well. So you're building that community. When did you decide, hey, this could actually be a business? I can run seminars. I can run workshops. I can take this to another level.
Yeah, so like I had no plans of doing this at all. Like that was not that was not really what I wanted or where I wanted to take this. But there was a demand for it. Like when I started out, it was not very well known about the ice baths. Like there was basically no content about it. And then I produced, a couple 100 million views, and people got really interested. They wanted to learn more about it. So we actually had a Bangsaray local guy who contacted us and said, "I want to try this out. Can you teach me?" Yeah, why not? So they came over to my condo at the time, and like I just showed how to do it for him and his girlfriend. And yeah, he was like, it looked like he was gonna pass out when we were in the, like, after 15 seconds of getting into the ice. So it was a funny experience in that sense. But he came, they came back like every week for like 10 weeks, and he was like, after that he was doing it as well as me, I guess.
And they would come over, and at this point, are they paying you for that, or is it just, hey, let's do this for fun?
Well, they asked like, how much do you want for it, and we were just doing it like pretty much for free, very very low cost, like basically paying for the ice. That's and it was a really good experience, but like more people wanted to do it, and then we just said, okay, let's get a place, set up a business, and just actually we set up the business because I was contacted by the TV crew for a TV show here in Thailand on channel 27 called Super 100, and they wanted me to be on their show, but I needed to have a work permit to be able to do that because as you know how it is. So it was a long process to set up the company and get everything, and you needed to have like an office, you needed to have all these things in order. So I think it took like probably 9 months or something altogether to get everything set up. And that's when we also we got the ice bath center, we called it Ice Bath Center in Bangsaray, and we started teaching it like after we got everything set up.
Is this
properly.
your center now? And then people come, or they're coming for like workshops, or they can come and use it?
So we recently shut it down again, and it was not a good location. We didn't know that at the time. We thought it was a good location. So now we're in the process of teaming up with some other Bangsaray locals, and we're gonna do like workshops on the water. Like a friend of ours, they have like a homestay or a resort, like right on the water. It's called the Boat House, and they're gonna set up a ice bath. We're gonna do events with them with like yoga and sound bath and all kinds of other healing practices.
If I wanted to build an ice bath at my house, what is the low-cost solution in Thailand to build an ice bath?
The lowest cost would be to just have a actually, you can get one of those ice boxes, the blue ice boxes. Like that's what we got. The local ice shop would lend it to you for free if you buy ice from them regularly. So we were just buying ice every day, right? So we got the ice box for free. We got a big one, like a 350 liter, which is like a pretty decent bathtub, and that's what we've been using. Keeps the cold for very long, and it's really cheap.
How many bags of ice are you using a day? What's the cost behind that?
So when we had the center, I think I would
or just for yourself personally.
For me personally, like with the ice box, I think I would use maybe about 15 bags a week, and these are the 10 kilo bags.
Okay.
Yeah, so about 150 kilos of ice a week. We're using the ice box. Yeah.
So you're using like 2 per day every time you do your plunge.
Well, like like first day, I would put like 10 bag or 100 kilos, and then maybe after 3 days the ice would melt away.
Gotcha.
So then I put like another 5, and then
And then how much would that cost? Like a big bag? I'm guessing this is not ice you could put in a drink.
That is ice you can put in a drink. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same that you send to the restaurant. That's how it works. Like if you have a restaurant or a bar or whatever, you get one of these ice boxes. You get it for free if you buy the ice to keep your ice not melting, right? So a bag with delivery is 30 baht per bag. So
And for every session, let's say one person, they only need 1 or 2 bags, would you think? Like if you're just to do it on your own every time.
well, you need to, like, if you fill up with a lot, you obviously need to put a lot of water in a 350 liter tank. So that's when I put 100 kilos of ice, and that would last 3 days. So you can't just put 1 bag or 2, but like it's not going to get cold, or the ice will melt really quickly. But if the water is already cold, then it would be enough. You want to get the water at least below 4 degrees to get all the benefits.
So if someone like myself, I could put the blue box out front. I order 10 kilo bags, so 400 baht. Let's call it 500 baht.
Yep.
I throw that ice in there for the whole week. It's only costing me 500 baht to have my old cold plunge, and you're kind of just adding ice in throughout the week to keep it going, and essentially that could keep it going forever. You just keep adding bags.
Well, the water gets dirty, so you have to have like either a filtration system or just change the water. Like pretty much every week, you have to change the water, depending on how. Like if you're just alone, you can probably use it a little bit longer.
If it's just you, are you draining it once a week and doing a proper cleaning?
You have maybe not once a week, maybe every 10 days or something like that, but. You have to, anyways, you have to take out, like every time you put in, you have to take out, because if not, it's going to overflow, right? So you have to take, like if I put in the 50 more or 5 more bags, 50 more liters, I have to take out like 5 buckets, every time.
And there should be just a plug on the side, or you have to do it manually?
There's a plug at the bottom, so you can, drain it out that way if you have, if it's close to where you have it drains. If not, like when I was in the condo, I was doing it in just a green wheelie bin, and I would do this. This is 4th floor. I would get 40 bags or 40 kilos of ice. I would walk. I didn't want to make it wet in the elevator, so I would walk up the stairs to the 4th floor every day with 40 kilos of ice. So it's really trained my legs at the time. It was great. But every time I had to like take out 4 buckets, and my wife would be angry because there was water everywhere dripping and stuff. Have to pour it out in the toilet.
Is there a special cleaning method for these buckets? Like, are you just using normal like cleaning soaps, or?
I just scrub it, like just scrub it rinse out with water, and then put new fresh water in. There's no need for doing anything else really.
A lot of these facilities, let's say they're more places that you would go to, obviously, and pay and whatnot. Are they putting chlorine in there as well?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. I don't like that, so I try to avoid chemicals as much as possible.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I was gonna order one, but I always see you using the blue bucket. Are there any like products out there on Lazada that you see people using that you might suggest or trust, that essentially they're just inflatable blow-up pools? But I heard the problem in Thailand is the sun. It can just kill these things after a certain amount of time.
Yep.
I mean, they're not going to last longer than 3 months anyways, right?
Right. Well, yeah, maybe a year or something. Then they start leaking. It's like all these plastics, like the Thai weather just kills everything that is plastic.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I don't... And they don't keep, like, they're not isolated or anything. Like, if you want the easiest, cheapest solution, just getting one of those, the blue ice boxes.
What do you think those actually what do those cost, the blue boxes, if you were to buy one yourself?
If you want to buy one that is a decent size, you probably pay about 5,000 baht for
5,000 baht. I mean, but some of these top of the line Eskimo, they call them ice baths. I mean, the top ones I've seen are 30,000.
Right.
And still, they're pretty much just inflatable, and when exposed to light, they're not going to last that long anyways.
Right.
So you're better off, buying the blue bucket. Maybe they're not as comfortable. How are you situating yourself into the ice bucket? Your kind of arms are on the side. Is your ass touching the bottom?
Yep. Just sitting like you would sit in a normal bathtub. I don't put, like you want to, like most people, they try to avoid getting the cold receptors. The cold receptors, where you actually feel the cold, is basically chest level and up. So most people, when they sit in the ice, they want to keep it right below where it actually starts hurting. So I don't do that. Like I do more like a full
right
body
to the
type. right to the neck. Yeah, that's if I normally do, but I do. That's what I wanted me to do when I did that TV show. They wanted me to dunk my head or stay under the ice for 4 minutes, and I said I cannot do that. I can do 2 minutes, and I knew I could do 2 minutes, but they wanted 4, and I had to try it four separate times. I didn't do 4 minutes. I just did 3:57.
That's hard to do without ice.
That's hard to do without ice. But yeah, it was with ice. It was a very, that was the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life. Because first of all, I failed 2 times. Like I did, I told them, okay, I will do 2 minutes. Then like the first time I tried, it was 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So I was like really happy, and they were not. So I was really cooled down. I go out and wait, and they're just like after 5 minutes, you want to try it again? I'm like, maybe I can wait a little bit. Let me heat up first, And then I did like 2 and 43 or something like that the next time, and then the next day they want like, what? I figured, okay, let's try to do it as good as possible, and it makes a big difference if you've had something to eat before. Like that day, I had been driving all the way from Bang Saray up to Bangkok to the studio, and it was very stressful, and I had been eating and all these different things, and the box that they got was not one of those boxes that I was familiar with. They used the small ice cubes instead of the big ice cubes, so there was a lot of differences from what I would normally experience at home, and so the next day I said, okay, if you want me to do 4 minutes or as good as possible, right? You need to get me a proper box. You need to get me a thick layer of big ice cubes so that can help to push me down, because that's the problem. Like when you take a deep inhale, you're going to float up, right? And it's like moving around in there. So I can't focus on, because it's a meditation practice, right? So if you're focused on other things, it doesn't work. So the time when I actually did it, everyone was quiet. They shut the light. Like this is in a studio. All I could hear was my heartbeat, and I just hear my heartbeat just beating slower and slower and slower, like down. Like I've checked the pulse, and when I do this, like it goes down to like 32 beats a minute. So it's very, very low. So when I felt okay now, and I never push it. I always like to stay safe, because it can be very dangerous. So I don't recommend people doing it at all. But that time, I went, okay, now it's time to go up. I went up, and everyone was just applauding, and it was just such a beautiful moment, just listening to my heartbeat for 4 minutes, and then I get up, and everyone's happy, and I'm happy, and great.
On the technical side, specifically ice baths, cold plunges, what are they doing for you internally to help with inflammation and healing?
So, like the cold in general, that lowers inflammation. That's what you put like ice packs on. If you've been beating up, or if you have some swelling or something like that. When it comes to like muscle inflammation or recovery from muscle, what it does, contract, the blood vessels will contract when you're in, and then when you get out of the cold again, they will expand slowly, and that will release like lactic acid, inflammation, stuff like that from the muscles, from the muscle tissue, and shoot it out in the bloodstream, and then you like pee it out.
Do you get a lot of people coming to you with injuries? Like, for example, I have golfer's elbow, and I've had it for about 3-4 months. I've been trying to use things like BPC 157 as an injection in the stomach fat. It kind of works, but I'm still having problems with that. Do you have people like that come to you with maybe muscle issues, and they're looking for solutions just from cold plunging?
So yeah, like a lot of people come to me because they have, maybe they've heard me talk about solving my health issues, so they come for consultation as well. Like all the private clients that we take, like they get obviously some time to consult about their issues. I've had clients come with like lung issues, cancer, all kinds of diseases, rashes, and stuff like that. And like they're all feeling so much better. We actually had one guy. This is more a lot with the breathing exercise, like we do the breathing as well. So we had one guy who had like an adverse reaction to the COVID vaccine, and his lungs would fill up with these lipoproteins, so he couldn't breathe. Like his oxygen levels dropped down to like 80-70% and stuff. So they had to pump his lungs full with salt water and then suck it all out. Like within 1 year, he had to do that 3 times. And he came to me like 5 minutes after we're done. We checked the oxygen levels, and he had like 95% oxygen. Now he hasn't been to the hospital again since then, getting much better. I've had some other like long COVID patients or clients or who say they've been to like clinics in Bangkok specifically for the long COVID. Like he would have, like, if he go exercise or do something that like walking up maybe 5 flights of stairs or something like that, he would be bedridden for like a week because he's like, I don't know, like his system was all messed up, I guess.
An autoimmune issue.
I don't, like they said, he said it's long COVID, so he had COVID, and then I don't really know exactly the process of how it turns into long COVID or whatever, but they have a clinic apparently in Bangkok, and he said he spent like $10,000 trying to fix the issue, and like, you know, over a year of time to fix it, and it wouldn't help at all. And he came to me, we did like 5 sessions together, and now he's like 90% recovered from just doing that.
And you have probably thousands of, well, maybe hundreds of these stories of people coming. And
a lot,
and,
yeah.
and especially when you, because we're doing, as you know, supplements and mushroom supplements. You get a lot of people. I think the number one thing that I get, or questions that you can't answer, is people come to you as like, you're the cure-all, save-all, and you have to help me. And there's just so many other underlying issues that they need to address before, like, this is not really, it's the solution. It can help, but it's not going to be the solution. Do you find that as a reoccurring conversation you can have with people if they're saying like, hey, I have this issue, I want to do the cold plunge, this is going to fix everything? Or do you also work with them on a level of addressing like, well, what's your sleep like? What's your diet like? Are you having that conversation with them?
Yes, big time. Because it's not just about, like I said, for me, this was a tool to give me the energy and the power to do the real changes that needed to be done. Like lowering the inflammation from the ice bath is, yeah, that's great for the moment, but you have to keep doing it to lower the inflammation. But you have to, if you want to really fix the issue, you have to stop putting the inflammation in the body, right? So it's obviously lifestyle choices. So that's the what I always ask, you know, like, okay, what are you eating? How's your sleep? What's your general lifestyle?
Yeah, understanding stress levels. They could have a high stress job,
Yes.
and that can carry over. There's many factors.
Sitting all day, and yeah,
and even genetics too, which can be challenging. When people do approach you, and let's say they're coming to you for these workshops, could you walk us through a day in the life of that workshop as a client, a customer? What could I expect to get from that?
So the workshops that we do with the onsen in Bangkok.
That's Unomori.
That's Unomori, yeah. And well, like, this is pre-hours. They open at 10, so we do the workshop in the morning. They book their ticket to get there. We only take 15 people per workshop. We do them 2 times a month. And yeah, first we do the breathing session together, and then people get their questions answered and all that stuff. And then we do the ice plunge, and then we have like a healthy breakfast, and then people get to use the onsen all day. So yeah, that's pretty much the process. They, like, we usually hang out with, the customers and, get to know them a little bit. And we always get approached, they want, like, people who have hotels or resorts or stuff. They want us to come and do events with them or stuff like that.
So it's an excellent networking job as well.
Great. Yeah.
Do you get a lot of Thais that approach you and they're watching your content, so they just expect that you're fluent in Thai? And they come up to you and just start speaking fluent Thai, and it might be, wait a minute, like,
right.
Are you comfortable having a 20-minute conversation in Thai now?
I am, but usually they don't come for that. Like, they just see me and they like something that I've talked about or whatever in the, like, all the time when I walk on the beach in Bang Saray, like, we have a lot of tourists come down from Bangkok and stuff. It's only Thais pretty much that know about me because I make the content in Thai, right? So, like, I've been walking on that beach for 10 years, but now in the last 2 years, there's like, I see, and like, it's usually the kids that have the courage to approach or, whatever. So they always come like in groups, kids just running after me and stuff. And it's like, it's really fun. And they call me Farang Tisha Nam King. So that's like, yeah.
The king of...
No, that's a foreigner, who's doing the ice bath. That's how they know. And then I had, like, I've been really focused on trying to build the audience and build the following, right? So at the end of every clip, I would put, like, follow for more if you want to get healthy or whatever. And I've done that for a long time. And then I just thought, for fun, I would make like a clip where I like I sort of threaten them. And I would say, like, why haven't you clicked follow yet? But in Thai, the Thais, they really love that. So that's what, like, I had couple of months ago, I had like a group, like 20 kids or something. They come up, and there was one kid who came up to me, and he said, "Is it true? Are you the guy who said, what, Tamai, you young, Tamai, kun young may go titam?" That's why? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's me. And he was like, "Oh, can I shake your hand?" Really funny.
These experiences engaging with your audience, is this still something relatively new? Do you think it can get to the point where it might be overwhelming?
Yeah, obviously it can. But so far it's like Thai people are really polite. Like, they're not, like, it's mostly the kids, like I said. Sometimes it's, grown-ups come up to me, when I'm shopping at Macro or Big C or whatever. They usually just want to, to take a picture, or, like, I don't mind. It's all right.
Yeah, it's not in the middle of your dinner or someone tapping on your shoulder.
Right. No.
Not there yet.
Not there yet. No, so far it's, they're really polite about it, so it's okay.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap. We just hit actually over an hour. You see how fast it goes.
Wow.
That's over an hour.
Wow.
We always try to do 45 minutes. It's impossible.
Right.
So we're going to wrap this up right now. I'm sure when you're back, you're always welcome back. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, you're not going back to Sweden. I'm sure as hell I ain't going back to Canada. I'm happy in this environment. Just before we do wrap it up, I'm going to pass this bigger camera over to you. If you can stare into the depth of the audience and the new audience from our Fruiting Body podcast, all 8 of you watching, just let everyone know. We'll put the links in the description on YouTube. Just let everyone know if they want to reach out to you or contact you, where they can find you. So just that big camera there.
All right. So the best way to contact us is through the Facebook Messenger on our page. It's called Robin and Tammy, or to our official line, which is @Don'tBeTheDog. And that's the channels on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well, @Don'tBeTheDog.
Okay, we're going to put all those links in the description. Don't forget to go check out Fruiting Body Mushrooms. I'm terrible at plugging my own stuff. We sell a lot of mushrooms. They're awesome.
They're really great.
Somewhere in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I think we're probably getting to be one of the biggest podcasts in Thailand right now. I'm not quite sure. We're so busy with other stuff. We're coming to Singapore. We're coming to Australia. We're coming to Dubai. We're going worldwide, nationwide. We're taking over the world with the mushrooms. So stay tuned. Stay focused. Subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. And we're out.